out there in YouTube, Facebook, social media land.
Okay. So
All
how are
right.
you? How was your week, Tony?
My week was good. My week was really good. But it does bring me to kind of what we're gonna chat about today. And I also had some questions for you as well, and as far as the grooming industry goes. But so a lot of the times when clients call me, and I don't know if it's the same thing with you when it comes to help with their dogs, a lot of times the most of the inquiries I get are, hey, I'm gonna be out of town for 2 weeks. Do you offer board and training?
Mhm.
Right. And every time I get one of those inquiries, I don't know if it's just the lack of research that people do, but it's never, oh, I have a puppy. Can you watch him for 2 weeks and get the foundations down? Or I have a dog. He just needs basic obedience. He's great, but we're going to be out of town for 2 weeks. Maybe you could just work on his stay or his down. It's always somebody that has this crisis situation that's going on vacation for 2 weeks and then thinks that they can send their crisis dog to a 2 week boot camp and it'll come back perfect by the time they're done from camping or doing whatever they're going to do. And I have such a hard time educating people on that whenever they call me and they go, hey, do you offer board and training? I don't offer board and training for a lot of reasons. For one, um, my environment and my lifestyle is going to be different than someone else's environment and their lifestyle.
Mhm.
So a lot of the times when I bring dogs to my home, I'm not board and training. I'm just living with them and they're just going to be a part of my living process. I kind of follow suit with my other dogs. I don't have like a dog training program when I board and train. They just live with me. That's my lifestyle. And they just kind of start to correct themselves over time. But that doesn't mean that if the dog goes back to the owner, they're going to have this amazingly trained dog afterwards because of their lifestyle that's causing the behavioral issues to begin with. They have to change a lot, right? And so I try to explain to the client it's so important for them to be a part of that process because they need to learn about their dog. They need to learn about their cognitive emotions. They need to learn what their weaknesses are, what their strengths are, and how to respond adequately to certain situations. And that's basically building a relationship with a dog that you thought you may or may not have had. Even in marriage family therapy, sometimes couples are having problems in their relationship. They go to marriage family therapy and they never look at the marriage family therapist and say, hey, can I give you my husband for 3 weeks? And then he can just come back already knowing how to be a good husband, right? There's
That's a
so
good
much
point.
more to that. There's so much more to that. And I just think people don't understand that with dogs. They think that they're mechanical and that they could just be trained to obey. And there's so much more synchronicities that need to happen. So the other thing I noticed too is that most dog trainers will charge anywhere from maybe $4,500 to up to $10,000 for a board and training program. They have your dog for 3 weeks. And then they only give you maybe 1 or 2 sessions to show you how to maintain the training. And it seems so opposite to me, being that the trainer's the one with all the years of experience. Shouldn't it only take, and they claim they train dogs so fast, shouldn't it be the trainer that has the dog for 2 or 3 sessions? And then you have the 2 or 3 weeks of the practice and maintaining it? It just seems completely opposite because the owner is the one with the less experience. They're the ones that need more time learning and understanding, and that just never happens. But what often happens is whenever those clients decide, well, I'm not going to go with Tony, it's going to take 6 to 12 months, because that's usually what I tell my clients. It's going to take 6 to 12 months to get to the bottom and root causes of this relationship issue. They just send their dogs to the board and train, and then after they get their dogs from board and train, the dog is traumatized, or they realize that was not money well spent. And then they reach out to me and go, hey, I contacted you 3 months ago for a board and train program. You said you didn't do it. I did another board and train situation, but now my dog is messed up. Now he's scared of everything. Now he's reactive to situations and he wasn't like that before. So I'm going to go with you instead. And then I have to unfortunately tell them, yeah, now it's going to take longer than 6 to 12 months. Now we have trauma. And I just wish people would understand how dangerous board and training actually is. But it's literally the go-to for every dog trainer that starts a dog training business. They all want to do board and training. And I think the reason why dog trainers like to do board and training is because they don't like clients and people as much as they like dogs. And they find a way to cut the owner out of the situation because it's just hard to mentor an owner, educate an owner to make them as natural as they can be with the dog. And they just want to just deal with the dog and then give the owner the tips. So I wanted to read something quite interesting, and then I thought we'd look at a couple of videos. But before I play the videos, we'll have to warn the audience because videos are not pleasant to watch necessarily. So, but I have this short article. So, understanding the dangers of board and train programs, abuse allegations in dog training. So here's the introduction. Board and train programs are marketed as a convenient solution for busy pet owners, promising to address dog behavior issues while the dog stays at a training facility. However, these programs come with significant risks, including the potential for abuse and mistreatment, lack of owner involvement, transparency, and the use of harsh training methods can result in physical and psychological harm to their dogs. Now, here's the risk of board and train programs. Number one, lack of owner involvement. Owners are typically not present during those training sessions, missing out on learning effective handling techniques. Second, dogs may not generalize learned behaviors to their home environment, leading to inconsistent results and confusion, because a lot of times dogs are situational learners. Two, stress and anxiety. Being away from their familiar environment can cause significant stress and anxiety in dogs. Also, the abrupt changes in routine and surroundings can exacerbate existing behavior issues or create even new ones. And the use of harsh training methods. Some trainers resort to aversive methods such as shock collars, prong collars, or physical punishment in order to achieve those quick results. And these methods can cause physical pain, injury, and psychological trauma, leading to fear-based behaviors and long-term damage. And there has been some recent abuse allegations that I just kind of wanted to read off to you as well. And these have been just really recent. So several high-profile cases have highlighted the dark side of the board and train programs, with trainers being prosecuted for animal abuse and negligence. And here's some notable examples. In Okinawa, trainer accused of mistreatment. A trainer in Okinawa was caught on video abusing a dog. The footage led to legal action and public outcry, emphasizing the need for stricter regulations in the industry. Another dog trainer, Pleasant Hill dog trainer, was charged. A Pleasant Hill dog trainer faced 3 misdemeanor counts. The misdemeanors got me right there. That's all that they are whenever they abuse animals. They're always just misdemeanors. Including animal abuse, after a viral video showed the mistreatment of dogs in his care. This case underscores the potential for serious abuse in unsupervised training environments. A New Jersey trainer, a New Jersey training center shut down. Bubba Love Dog Training in Rahway, New Jersey, was shut down after disturbing video footage surfaced showing the trainer allegedly abusing dogs. The case sparked significant outrage and legal action. And in Palm Beach County, a trainer was arrested and charged with animal cruelty after surveillance videos appeared to show her choking and kicking dogs. This case further highlights the risk associated with board and train programs. And the last one in Palm City, a trainer in Palm City, Florida, was arrested after being accused of abusing dogs and lying about her certifications. This case illustrates the importance of verifying the credentials of dog trainers. So there's a lot of alternatives to board and train programs, and to ensure the well-being of the pets, owners should consider alternatives that emphasize humane and transparent training methods. So one of those could be in-home training, which I'm a big advocate of in-home training. Conducting training sessions in the dog's home environment can be less stressful and much more effective. Owners can actively participate and learn alongside their dogs, ensuring consistent application of training techniques. And also cognitive training programs, emphasizing understanding the dog's cognitive abilities and using them to guide training. Encourages problem solving and cooperation, fostering a more positive and lasting relationship between the dog and the owner. So the conclusion is, while board and train programs might offer a convenient solution, The potential risks and instances of abuse underscore the need for more humane and owner-involved training methods. By choosing cognitive training approaches, pet owners can ensure their dogs receive the care and respect they deserve, leading to happier and healthier relationships. I wanted to just kind of, and I don't want to create, I guess, fear-mongering, but I think people don't realize the overwhelming amount of board and train programs that you don't want your dog to go to and that are behind closed doors that nobody even realizes. So I kind of wanted to show a couple of videos. There's just maybe 4 or 5 videos of just examples of the things that I just mentioned. And then I also wanted to ask you, Sasha, have you ever experienced that in the grooming industry as well? So let me share my screen with you guys and let me play some videos here. The thing that I do want to say though is that for the next 6 minutes, we're gonna see some pretty horrific things. So if the viewers are very sensitive, you may want to skip this portion of the podcast and then kind of jump in later if you're watching the recording. I think maybe even Veteran, whenever he does publish this podcast, maybe can put maybe a warning label and then tell people where they can restart the podcast so they can skip all of this stuff. But let me go ahead and share this with you. And we got about maybe 6 minutes of footage here, so some of it's pretty bad. All right, you guys should be able to see my screen now. So let me go ahead and.
A Fox 6 exclusive. Oconomowoc police say a woman trusted to teach and train dogs was caught on camera hurting one.
Brett Lemoyne is live for us tonight at the Waukesha County Courthouse with the reason that dog trainer is still working for the business, Brett.
Yeah, Ted and Mary, more on that in just a second, but we do want to warn you the video in this story is graphic. Prosecutors say the dog trainer held the dog up off of the ground by its leash multiple times. The owner of the dog says her pup has not been the same since.
Ready?
Ashley Bale says the moment she got her corgi Milo, there was an instant bond.
He sleeps on my pillow every night because that's just, he's so connected to me.
Bales wanted him trained as a service dog, so Milo could help with her chronic migraines and fainting spells. She says she enrolled him in a 6-month-long, $10,000 training course at Oconomowoc's
6-month-long, $10,000 course at the facility, which is already really crazy.
Your dog. She stopped further training when she noticed scabs on his neck. Last September, Bale says she got this video from a former You and Your Dog employee.
When I heard the video and I could hear him stop breathing and gasping for air, that's when I lost it.
Bales went to Oconomowoc police, who said it was clear the dog was in serious distress and there was, quote, no training purpose for this type of behavior. Milo thrashed back and forth as his feet dangled off the ground. Shouldn't someone else there have said, hey, that's not right?
It made me question a lot more than just what happened in that video.
In court Thursday, dog trainer Rachel Moderson entered not guilty pleas to misdemeanor charges of mistreating animals and disorderly conduct.
She still is employed as a dog trainer at You and Your Dog LLC.
That's going to be a problem.
Moderson declined to comment.
So how do you explain the content of the video that we saw?
An attorney representing You and Your Dog issued a statement to Fox 6 accusing Bales and the former employee of trying to extort and defame owners Christy Kummer and Otto Strum. Fox 6 profiled both in 2021 when they competed in the Westminster Dog Show. Ms. Moderson was severely disciplined, including being orally reprimanded, demoted from her training manager position, and no longer has any contact with dogs. Bales says it's too late for Milo.
He doesn't like contact with other people.
And Oconomowoc police say no one else from You and Your Dog is currently under investigation. Attorneys for You and Your Dog say the business does not condone any form of animal abuse. In the meantime, a court commissioner ordered that Moderson not handle or be around anyone else's pets. Reporting live in Waukesha, Brett Lemoyne, Fox 6 News.
All right, Brett.
Tonight investigates a viral video that led to a charge of animal abuse. A Pleasant Hill dog trainer is charged in this case, and we have a warning. The video you're about to see is tough to watch. Investigative reporter Matt Fleener shows us the police chief's warning.
It's video now shared thousands of times online. Police say dog trainer Matt Fiala has this dog on a leash trying to take pictures. What happens after this eventually led to 3 charges, including animal abuse.
The video itself is appalling.
Pleasant Hill Police Chief Tommy Wright says after Fiala led the dog to the cage, he threw a bucket of water in its face, eventually flipping the kennel, then kicking the door closed multiple times, all while you can hear the dog crying out.
It's tough to watch. It's tough for us to see that. All of us in the police department, all the city employees, it's a tough video for us to watch.
The police chief says he's grateful someone recorded video of what happened.
This case, there's evidence, and I applaud the people that recorded as well as any other neighbors that are coming forward to give us information.
KMBC9 Investigates went to Fiala's door. He didn't answer, but you could still hear multiple dogs barking inside. Police say the investigation into other complaints against Fiala continues.
In order for us to fix this problem, people have to stand up, and in this case, they're standing up for animals.
In Pleasant Hill, Matt Fleener, KMBC9 News.
Fiala faces a court date of March 19th.
Turning to other news, disturbing allegations of animal abuse in Rahway, New Jersey tonight. Multiple videos show what are supposed to be dog trainers abusing, beating, and even choking dogs.
In fact, one particularly sickening video showing one of those trainers kneeling on a dog's neck. Tonight, that trainer and rescue center have been shut down.
Here's New Jersey reporter Tony Yates.
It's shocking. The videos that I saw online are just so incredibly disturbing.
We show you these still images because the video is far too graphic. Shot by a neighbor who does not want to be identified, but is disturbed by what she says she heard for months coming from the yard at Bubba Love Dog Training on Main Street in Rahway.
One thing is to see it in a video, and it's another thing watching it actually happen live. It was the most disturbing thing ever, and it's something that I will forever have as a memory.
Shared hundreds of times on social media, the video sparking outrage. Another neighbor gave us this video. You can see a man kneeling on a dog, pinning it to the ground. The business has caused concern to many for a long time.
All I would hear is the cursing and just very aggressive with the dogs. It's sad.
It's heartbreaking. I couldn't even sleep last night after seeing the videos.
Dawn Menendez says she's been bringing her dog Shuggy for 8 years.
Last year at one point, they both came out with my dog after daycare saying she had injured herself. I had to bring her to the vet. They didn't know how it happened, something with her neck.
The business owner is identified as Joshua Silverstein. Clients are reporting receiving a notice from the owners about the graphic video, saying in part the dog's owner acknowledged they are familiar with their pet's leash behavior and declined to press charges. But the city of Rahway and police to press charges. But the city of Rahway and police looking into the business shut the property down with an unsafe structure notice and stood by as a woman removed belongings and 3 dogs. The Humane Society also overseeing the actions.
I kid you not, it makes me physically ill.
The city and police are investigating, but at this point there are no animal cruelty charges filed.
So in this case, we see a situation where animals were being abused. I'm very thankful to live in a county and be a part of an organization that has zero tolerance for animal cruelty. We are very, very thankful for the partners that we have in law enforcement. We're thankful for our relationship with the state attorney's office. All of us work very closely together to make sure that animal crimes, animal cruelty, there is no place for this in our society.
Mislio sam da si rekao da nećeš da. Mislio sam da si rekao da nećeš da.
So animals, they can't speak, so they need the public to look out for their best interests, you know, and if the public sees things that's just not right, you know, call us, call the authorities, call us, call sheriff's office, you know, do something, let us know about it, let us look into it, you know, and if it is, you know, criminal animal abuse, we are going to work with law enforcement, we are going to work with the state attorney office, and we are going to try and get someone prosecuted and held accountable for anything that they do that is cruel to an animal in Palm Beach County.
Tonight, new allegations against dog trainer Nikki Camerlengo. This after a string of dogs died in her care. The owner of Positively Paradise was arrested yesterday, charged with felony animal cruelty. It is a case our Kate Hussey exposed a year and a half ago, uncovering numerous citations against this business. And just today, Kate is untangling a web of allegations against Camerlengo, who has remained defiant and determined in the face of this investigation. This is a story you will see only on WPTV.
That's right. You'll remember we talked to 6 families who tell us they're victims. 5 of them say their dogs died in Nikki Camerlengo's care, and despite that, she kept operating her business, moving it here to St. Lucie County. Remember, Camerlengo has only been charged in connection with one of the dog's deaths. I spoke exclusively with the lead detective on this case, who told me even just yesterday, right before her arrest, Nikki Camerlengo was still setting up dog training sessions.
Nikki, blunt force trauma was found in 2 dogs. How do you explain that?
Here's the exclusive look at Camerlengo bonding out last night. I asked her how the dogs that died received the blunt force trauma injuries that are revealed on their necropsies. She didn't respond. The lead detective, Christine Polisi, says she's been on this case since 2022. She says the dogs suffered long and painful deaths, and that she has the evidence that proves Camerlengo had no intention of shutting her business down.
How do you go out there and say, I mean, her own voicemail says she loves animals. Love your animals. How do you sit there and preach love your animals when you obviously don't? Nikki Camerlengo shouldn't be training or doing anything with animals. That's what that tells me.
I also spoke on the phone for the first time with Bo's mom. The owner of the latest dog necropsy show died of blunt force trauma in Nikki Camerlengo's care. She told me part of the reason she trusted Camerlengo was the 3 nationally accredited certifications listed on her accredited certifications listed on her website. I reached out to all 3 companies. The International Association of Canine Professionals tells me she was never actually trained there. The National Canine Association of Dog Trainers says they did train her in 2015, but revoked her membership after seeing allegations emerge back in March and told her to take the certifications down. The American Kennel Club says she's not in their database. I asked Camerlengo about those certifications when she bonded out last night. She refused to answer my question. She has since made that website password protected. Outside the St. Lucie County Jail, I'm Kate Hussey, WPTV News Channel 5.
Down. Good. She's not trick motivated at all, whatsoever.
It wasn't moving
Down.
here that I had to like clock down over and over and over.
For Kira, I think. Down. Down. Trying a new thing. I don't know.
So I didn't realize that I was on mute. I think I was on mute. Are you able to hear me? You look pissed off, actually. Was that hard for you to watch?
I don't know. It was kind of.
Yeah.
Hard because, this reminds me of the, I remember when this last video you was playing with those girls stretching that poor dogs. I was just imagining what was going on through all of those circus animals. And these, the elephants and the lions and all of those dogs. That because, as you said, like last time, the clicker training was taken from a SeaWorld, and this abuse of animals and training them with the prong collars. What is the difference in between prong collar that some trainer would use and say, oh, that helps dogs focus and keeps them alert on pulling or whatever they want to work with them, and this abuse of these ladies did with those prong collars on the end. And you would have like kind of like, I think, entire training industry, regardless on which level, is pretty much hypocrisy, filled with hypocrisy. Because now this is entire world would probably scream at these ladies and everything, but then on the end they would still take their dog to the walk. Their owner is going to be recommended to walk their dogs on the choke collars, to walk their dogs on the prong collars, to use just a little bit adjustment of the e-collars, sort of all kind of trauma creating gadgets and tools. What's the difference in between the level of the pain we create or length of the pain that's created to an animal? I'm kind of like sick to this hypocrisy, actually. You can literally walk in any pet shop in the world that claim they love animals and everything, and you can buy all of these tools that the people used in order to abuse these animals. You can take your dog to a choke collar and take them to a walk, What's the difference in between seeing someone being recorded choking their dogs because they just got dog to train, or the choking collar or the prong collar that owner is doing to their dogs every single day when they take them to a park? What's the level of the abuse? And one is okay, the other one is not okay.
So it's interesting that you bring that up, because there are certain things that, like, I'm not saying that all board and trainers train this way, but if you just go on YouTube and just punch in dog training abuse allegations, you're gonna go down the rabbit hole. It is very, very, very common. I'm not saying that all trainers train this way, but it is very common, and it's especially more common in trainers that don't do home training and only do board and training. So whenever you see a trainer that says, I only do board and training, I'm more weary of those trainers than the trainers say, I do in-home training, and then I also have board and training options. Because
again, like, coming to the point, like, will they use a prong collar to abuse an animal, or they're going to suggest owner to do the same? What's the difference?
It's still,
this is done. This cruelty is done to my animal by someone else that I paid not to do that or paid to train them. And would I kind of be worried at all if I wouldn't find out what was happening to my dog while they were under the care of this boarding training facility?
I think the majority of people don't even know that that's happening.
Sorry?
I think the majority of dog owners that send their dogs to boarding training really get their dogs back, see a crazy change in their behavior, and don't really know how it really got there. So whatever the trainer's showing them is probably the least aversive version of what the dog actually went through in the board and train. It's aversive either way, though. There isn't really a difference. I think some trainers explain that the difference is between correcting a dog and punishing a dog, there's a difference. And I remember asking
the difference.
What the difference is that correcting a dog is letting them know what they did was incorrect behavior, but punishing a dog, it has an emotional tie to it where you're upset and you're angry. So if you're making an intelligent correction to correct a behavior, you're making an intelligent correction to teach the dog, we don't want you to do that. But you're correcting out of anger and frustration, then it's going to affect the dog differently. I'm not saying I agree with that. I'm just saying that is typical of what a dog trainer would say.
To be honest, like I was also training, like when I was doing a show dog training for my clients, I would usually live with the dogs that I was showing. And that is where I found out the way that I was working with my dogs was giving them a chance to consciously choose and work for me out from respect that somehow I didn't know what I'm doing. I just knew. So I didn't train my dog because I knew I was doing something. I was just going to communicate with my dogs that were under my care and supervision in such a way that I didn't even do much. And that's where I clicked when we were talking for the first time, when you showed me that video of you first time in a room with your wolf dog, when you said, this what you did was actually wonderful because you was doing nothing. You just waited for dog to choose to lay down and, by your side. You was waiting for the moment in which dog gonna choose you as someone that they can trust, and then from there everything else is just outcome of that trust. But I know, and you probably know that because I'm in this world for like over 35 years, close to 40 years now. So dog care business on any level is high stressed work environment. Regardless, would you train the dogs, board the dogs, groom the dogs, daycare, hotel, overboarding, whatever you do with the dogs is a high stress environment for the humans. If the humans are not self-centered and do have some emotional unresolved issues and traumas that I think a lot of us that end up in a pet care space do have, and that is why we tend to gravitate towards pet care industry, because it's much easier for us to deal with the animals than with the people. That's why we are not in some industry that require pretty much human-to-human interaction, as much as we think that this industry is actually human-to-canine interaction. What's far away from the truth, because you need to, in order to be successful in this business, we need to develop a human-human trade character, kind of like the qualities in order to make our business be successful. Aside of that, we need to learn about how to control ourselves and be a leaders to an animals. And that's pretty much, because this is what we saw is bullying the dogs because lack of the leadership skills. You would find this when we put someone to be a leader that doesn't have any leadership skills, they become bully. They're going to bully out from the power. You just give a little more power to the people and you see how much they're able and capable of bullying ones that are in the system ranked below them. And this is what actually happened here. When you put a leader, when we put someone in charge of the leadership position that doesn't have any leadership skills, they become bully. They become bully of the ones that they are in care for. And they would, that happens oftentimes to parents toward their kids. And
also
that's
too,
also...
Yeah. What do you think also too about the, what about the motivation behind the training? Like not the motivation of what their end goal is, but like as far as the trainer goes, what's motivated them to want to become a trainer? Because
that's... in
a lot of those board and train situations, it's not a lot of those board and train. I mean, you don't even have to take my word for it. Just call any board and trainer or go into any board and train website and find out what's the length of the board and train time. 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks for board and training is way too fast. It doesn't even give enough time for a dog to get accustomed to any kind of conditioned behavior. It's way too fast, for one. And also, two, the reason why they do 2 to 3 week board and train situations, because if I charge $4,000 or $5,000, let me tell you this. And
what's the question? What did you ask me?
Well, I'll tell you what the question is, because it's to you. I'm just a little upset about what the videos that we just saw, so I'm kind of trying to calm myself down a little bit. But what I was going to say is that if I was still training in this way, as far as not abusing dogs, but just the old way I used to normally train, and I wanted to offer board and training, I wouldn't collect a whole bunch of board and train dogs so I can make the most amount of money in a month. I would just focus on one dog and take my time until the board and training was done. But a lot of these trainers, they're like McDonald's. They want every dog, it's like a restaurant table. They want to churn out the restaurant table as quickly as possible to get a new patron to come and sit in at the table so they can start charging more. So a lot of these trainers do 2 to 3 week board and train programs so they can do multiple dogs in a month, right? And so when you feel this, when it's no longer about the dog and it's about the money and the speed of the training, the quality goes out the window for sure. But where I'm coming with this is coming to you, Sasha, is I have worked with clients that say, my dog's nervous to go to the groomers. My dog doesn't like his feet touched. How can you help us with the dog when it's at the groomers? And a lot of the times, it's not something easy for me to do unless I have the groomer's participation. So a lot of times I say, well, let me talk to the groomer and let me tell the groomer, hey, can we try to do this? Can we let the dog relax on the table for a while and watch you groom some other dogs? Can we not put the dog in the kennel and have the blow dryer directly just blowing the hell out of the dog because he wants to sit still for a blow dryer, so that's how you have to do it. Can we just take more time? Or can the dog just visit and not get a groom at all? Can the dog just come and hang out on the back of the desk and not be groomed that day, but just to visit? And I get the same response from most groomers is, Tony, we applaud you for being a behaviorist. We love so much what you do, but we run a business. We can't take the time to spend an hour with the dog when we have other dogs that we have to groom and wash. And that always used to frustrate me. So right now I'm at the point where if anybody says I have a dog that doesn't do well with the groomers, I generally don't always want to take those kind of cases because I need the groomer to help. And groomers don't have the time. And you are in the grooming industry. So, and you do work with behavioral cases. So what do you, if you were consulting a grooming office and they want to do things differently, and they said, Sasha, you know the grooming business, we got 10, 20, 30 dogs we got to see sometimes in 2 hours. We can't sit here forever. They need to hire a trainer for that. What do you usually tell those people?
So usually you remember, I don't think so. You remember, but when we were talking for the first time or when we met or we had, I'm sure I said this in front of the camera, my experience in my grooming academy when I was 16 years old, and that how did I ended up being interested in the canine behavior was actually my experience in the grooming shop. When I was in a school, there was this wonderful Terra Nova, like a Newfoundland dog getting ready for the show. They got him on the table, and there is a significant rule inside the grooming industry that all the dogs need to be secured on the safety loop. That's how it's called. That's something that, you know, some loop that you fix you put like this some collar around the neck, and then you secure the dog, and then the dog should feel like they're on a leash and they cannot move around the table, things like that. So, and as this Terra Nova was placed on the table, safety loop, everything adjusted, we brushed him a little bit, he went to be bad, we get him back from the tub, we put him on a table, we re-loop him back, and the dog sits still, so he doesn't do nothing. And because he was a big dog, quite fit, was right fit for the table, so there was not too much space for him to move around the table. And he was just, and as he was staying there, we were like blow drying the dog. The dog was not moving. He was like pretty calm, like Newfoundlander. They are just okay with everything. Mm-hmm. And next thing you know, this dog slipped his back leg on that table, and he just slipped from the table. And as he was locked to this safety loop, it was like 30 years ago, Tony. Now that I speak about this story again, I hear that crack of his neck broken. And I said, like, that was like big imprint in my mind. Like it's that, and that I said, like, I will never ever have those safety loops on my tables. I would work with my dog so they learn to love being on a table, laying down when I'm doing them, loving the process. And that's how I started to research about the canine behavior. So I wanted to teach my dog to love, because you come to the point that every dog can hate to be groomed, they can tolerate, they can accept the grooming, but also they can love it. And if that's the case, any animal can be in these four categories. Either they hate something, or they tolerate, they don't mind, they accept, they don't have any good feelings about that, but they wouldn't complain, or they just love it. And let's say now in a school that we took over, management of the school here in Texas, if I turn now, I'm having this live from the classroom. If I turn around the camera, there is like 10 grooming tables, not a single safety loop, because I already teach my students how they should interact with the dog. Then when you put the dog on a table, you put them on a side. The dog is laying on a table, and they are like and they laying on a table. We are brushing them, we are grooming them, we are drying them, whatever we are doing them. The dog consent, kind of like, not only that they consent to this treatment, they love it. And in the rest of my career, I was developing so-called puppy love program. And that counts still here in Texas. And I encourage every single student of mine to implement the same program in their shop as well. So it says that puppy love program counts that you have a puppy. Of course, it's a puppy love. It says puppy program. And usually when the puppy is done with all of their shots, would be like 3 months of age, maybe some couple of weeks extra. But let's say 3 months of age. I said like in between 3 months and 6 months. So those 3 months, in like 12 weeks, we run the puppy love program. And it's free. It's completely free. No charge for clients for 12 visits. But the only thing they need to do is to come once a week. So this week, we're gonna brush the dog, play a little bit with it, and send him home after 15 minutes. Next time when they come, we're gonna cut the nails. We're gonna do that in the environment in which we're gonna like play, and we're gonna send them home. Next time they come, we would cut a little bit from the coat, or we would bring in some noises like a dryer and a clipper. The only way for them to maintain the free service for those 12 times is to come weekly. During those 4 months of us interacting with the dog is already, when they come to the shop, no matter is it our schools, any students of mine that incorporates this practice, they are laying on the table. You can do them whatever you want. They love it. And the clients doesn't need to. So some of the clients would continue. Now the charges slowly start to, be present. Some clients would continue the practice of once a week. Some of them gonna, come a little less often, like once in 10 days, once in 15 days. But the entire mindset of the puppy and of the family is completely shaped to a positive emotional behavior towards this experience. That's not only something that's going to last like one time in a year or 3 times in a year. It's lifetime, because oftentimes the people people say like, I cannot stand the mess my dog's coat create in my home, and I was told by a vet or by someone else that this dog is not to be groomed like rather than once in 3-4 months. So we live in a urban setting, in a completely different environment than it was like maybe 50 years ago, and we need to look for the different ways of how do we deal with these challenges that are sometime in front of us and animals living together. So I'm so proud of this puppy love program, and I encourage everyone that's grooming out there or have a business or thinking about opening, don't think about how much money you're gonna lose by offering this no time consuming service to your clients. Think about how much dogs you're going to save long run in order to develop this amazing relationship with the grooming process. And this is oftentimes this becomes like 100% of reinvestment of the marketing money that you would spend around for some on some flyers or on some marketings on a social media or something like that. It becomes
a
like
free puppy love program is a wonderful marketing way of getting new grooming clients.
Yes, but not only that is I'm solving the problem. And now when you come to me and asking me like, what can I do in order to create this environment that what you said, like someone hates to be groomed. I also don't take a dog that doesn't love to be groomed, because first of all, it's if you have a no safety loop policy in the shop, every single dog that's on a table needs to love to be on a table. So and also on top, I said like people.
Dogs, right?
Sorry.
It also needs to get along with other dogs, right?
Kind of, but it's kind of like environment is always safe. Like that's kind of like yeah, you need they need to. But usually the dogs that are coming to a shop are very in our shop in this kind of setting. All the dogs are very like friendly to a people and other dogs. And also like on the beginning of the training program with our students, we have like 2 students working on one dog. So it's kind of like a four arms on one dog, 4 hands, 4 legs. But it's and then slowly as they mature into like a routine, they would get like 1 dog per groomer. But also I would also
with your grooming school. So when people come to, and I just want to make sure I understand. So when somebody comes to your grooming school, or if I were to call you and say, "Hey, Sasha, I have a dog. He hates to be groomed. Can I set an appointment up?" You don't take those kind of cases? No. So what do you do in that instance? You say, hey, you need to work on this separately, or hey, you know, what advice?
We would usually schedule the interview with the clients without scheduling the actual like a grooming session. Right. And then we would go through the possible program that would require them at home starting to implement dog like a canine communication rituals in order how to feed the dog, how to communicate, how to create this no stress environment in which suddenly the humans become and the people of the house become respected from the dog, and that respect that's created within the house, the dog can take outside the home as well. So and the very important thing is that as you know, like whatever we teach our dog at home, that's the environment, that's the way they're going to perceive the world. So if they don't trust their humans at home, they won't trust any humans anywhere. And usually those dogs that are aggressive towards any type of the grooming have some sort of the separation anxiety towards the owner. So they cannot calm down in a shop because they are like very much aware, very much like a crazy about where are their moms and dads. So, and it's not usually when you go through that interview with the people that want, someone would say, I don't care how you're going to get them groomed, just get them groomed. So I said, I'm sorry, I'm just not participating in that. You know, I'm strong. I'm like 250 pounds man, kind of.
As a business owner, and this is something that you just said that I admire very much about you, what you just said. Is sometimes groomers think they have to take every dog as a business owner. And sometimes every trainer feels that they have to take on all these difficult cases no. when they shouldn't.
Trust me. I must tell you, like we have like full schedule with the students and the groomers in this setting, and we have like a list of 300 people waiting on a list to get in. So and we on the other side, and a lot of
where you have to take this client because you need the money.
No, we can't, because there is a limit, physical limit of. And then on the other side, like we are very careful about. For example, I love to put the people on the routine. So they said, okay, my dog have this kind of coat, and I would love to have this kind of length of the coat. And then I work with them in a protocol. We said, you want to have your dog look like through the entire year, like it's always perfectly neat and washed and clean and everything. And in order for that to happen, we need to come on a 15-day schedule, and we need to come on 1 month schedule, or on 10-day schedule, or on a weekly schedule. And that is where you immediately, again, one client book like 12 to 50 times a year. It's already pre-booked, everything. So, and then on the other side, it's a very important thing. More often the dogs come to the shop, less expensive the grooming per one is. And also we try to work around the people's budget. So even if they come once a year, once a month, or 4 times a month, I try to balance around so the money even gets less what they spend on 4 treatments than what they're going to spend on 1. So, and that's where I try to always work around, because if the dog comes in every week, there is no way I can't make that dog love and enjoy this process. But now I need to be aware of that people maybe won't have money to pay for full treatment within the month. But now on the other side, I can balance that, and I say, if the dog comes in every week, and I spread the procedure, and I do today only blow dry and little touch-ups, and next time I do maybe no bathing, only touch-ups, and then next time. So now I'm able to balance my time sheet around that, and I somehow put everything together in order to make that dog feel comfortable here, to make that family be able to financially sustain that, and all of that in order to because now if I really want to help dog, I need to understand the humans owning a dog, and I can't approach that dog.
If the client show up, have their dog groomed, you really prefer that the client be a part of that process to help through that rehabilitation, so you can be their groomer. If they're not willing to work with you and they just want you to hurry up and get the dog groomed, then you can't work.
I just don't care. I love animals too much that I refuse to be part of those projects. And the people own dogs like they own car and chair and some whatever we own the plates and the pots. You own the dog.
Boarding trainers should be the same thing. Boarding trainers should be, hey, I refuse to do a 3-week boarding train. I refuse to, because that's just not fair to the dog. So let me ask you this, Sasha, because I'm really curious. I've never ever heard, and I've been in this pet industry for a while, I've never met a groomer that in connection to their grooming facility also have a training program attached to it that focuses on training for grooming, not obedience training, like the Puppy Love program. Do you know other groomers that are not affiliated with you that do that, or are you one of the few?
I never heard. Every single time also when I consult to businesses, they would always come back to me saying, oh, we can't afford that. It's too expensive to run the Puppy Love program without asking them to pay. But I said, like, that's the whole point. The whole point of Puppy program is that you have ability to prove to the people that you care about a dog, not about the money that comes with it. So, and I really saw, and I never heard it. Every single pet care business that wanted to be advised by, because we have a wonderful pet care, like a both branding agency that runs. We have a wonderful team that helps people restructure their pet care businesses on any level, trainers, whatever. And then always, every single time we do the consulting, I put up the point of, are we running this business to make money, and then we are selling to the people things they want to buy, or the primal focus of our business is the well-being of the animal? Because the moment you put the well-being of the animal on the forefront of your business, the boarding facility doesn't make sense, the daycare doesn't make sense. A lot of businesses that the people want to pay today for are not designed to help dogs, but are designed to help people, and in a wrong way. Because even if I have my separation anxiety and I cannot live,
people that don't have time for their own kids.
Yeah, there you go. I have money and I want to delegate this to someone else, and then I'm in a mercy of someone else. No matter how great grades they are, things like that. These businesses are very much highly stressed. people that have a money in a focus firsthand, they cannot think about the dogs. They think about how much money they need to make in order to sustain this business, and the primal focus on their, it's nothing wrong with that. But somehow, paradoxically, when you turn the ship from the money to the dog, and you start teaching people what they need to know about the dogs to provide them with a happy, healthy life to yours to thrive, paradoxically, you are showered with the money, because those people cannot get that anywhere else, because today, every single person with a dog is just a ticket. You know, I see people with a dog, immediately what I can make of them. And we can make a lot of money on the people because the people are emotionally connected with their dogs, and they tend to make emotional decisions. If you use any tool of the marketing, any tool of marketing used properly can trigger, and if you are running ads properly, if you have a good good kind of like a structure around your business and branding and marketing, you can have a lot of business and a lot of money. The question becomes, like, as I said 10 times in this podcast, we are always touching that point. Where did we lost the dog on this journey of loving the dogs and be lost for the money?
I think it'd be amazing. Man,
just a second. I'm just a second to answer clearly your question, because I answered in a lot of words. To answer clearly the question, I'm not aware of anyone providing a full concept of the Puppy Love program that's dedicated to development of the right mindset for the grooming and develop this. It's not only that you develop dog to enjoy grooming; they love it. And when the dogs love grooming, every single time when you take your dog to the groomer, it's not only grooming process, it's the showering from within with with these beautiful oxytocins, endorphins, all kind of beautiful hormones that heals the body, rather than bringing a dog to a stressful environment. Because that's what I show them. I show them, you remember the stress thing we talked about last time? I said, every single time you want me to force your dog to obey to something that the dog resists, the adrenaline glands hits in, the cortisol hits in. I just don't want to participate in that, because tomorrow your dog gonna end up having a low immune system, itching all over the place, being allergic to everything, because of the immune system is compressed. And then you ask all of these questions. Is your dog love to be groomed? Oh no, he hates to be groomed, but I'm taking him any time, like every single, like 2-3 weeks, because I live in an apartment. I want to have every single time you take a dog that doesn't like to be groomed to a groomer, you're shortening the life of that dog for, let's say, a day or a week, or you don't know how much, because every single time that dog experiences that stress, adrenaline is high, cortisol is high, immune system is shut off, the glucose hit in, and you have, so whatever happens from outside projects the health from within the dog. Right. And I just don't want to participate in that. That's it. Your dog, you do whatever you think is best for it. And if that's not what I see as the best well-being of the dog, and I can explain why, then we are just not, there is no money I can take from anyone to do things I don't find in the best interest of the dog.
It's interesting. You actually brought up an old memory of mine when you started bringing up about how the cortisol levels are increasing, the dog's itchy, the dog's not feeling good. Oh gosh, I was probably maybe in my early 30s. I was working with another trainer. And they had policies, and I always learn a little bit about different people's policies and why they have policies in place. But one particular policy of this training facility was that they don't really train dogs that are over 9 or 10 years old. And I always thought, why not? They need help. And one of the things that the head trainer told me was, the reason why we don't train dogs that are over 9 or 10 years old is because training and learning can be stressful. And most of the time, whenever we take on clients that have older dogs, they drop out of the program anyway, because something happens to the dog that he dies, he gets stressed, he has medical ailments now, He's getting hot spots. He's getting skin issues. His immunity is eating him. He's got cancer now. And I go, well, what does that have to do with the training? And it was the first time I ever heard a trainer say, dogs that are that old, you don't want to stress them through the training. Just they've already been a bad dog for 10 years. Just let them live another 5 years being bad dogs. Let them live the rest of it. Training them finally now at 10 years old, you're going to kill the dog just because of the training itself.
And that's where the cognitive approach makes sense. Because I saw dogs turn themselves overnight when you create an environment in which they finally understand what are we communicating, what do we want from them. Finally, no matter how dog is old, and how I find that with the program I run, no matter how old is a dog, and if the client, if the pet parents or the entire family start putting the protocols in place, like in no time, the dogs finally, you hear that. You know what I like to hear the most when I coach the people, and then we have some Skypes and things like that. I don't know how noisy environment need to be for me not to hear that. When the dog, when the dogs lay down and they say, oh my God, my heart melts when I hear that noise, that sound of the dog, literally melts. I can I hear when the Henny, because I don't know, suddenly he just starts jumping in our bed. Not that we care about that, but and I would fall asleep, and sometime in the night, like 1 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock in the morning, I would hear him do that sound. And it's so melting to me that I would just wake up for a second and, fell asleep again. But I'm so sensitive to that sound, because that really means like, oh my God, the dog is really, really content, calm, and in peace.
Man. I think I'm just so surprised that, well, for one, the puppy love program, that sounds freaking amazing.
Yeah, please.
Not only have a grooming facility, but there's a training facility kind of attached to the grooming facility. And if somebody says, I want to sign up my dog for puppy obedience, that's not what the training facility is for. It's training with the focus on grooming. And I don't know why veterinarians don't have a puppy love program, where the veterinarians have a separate building for training, and people come over to the veterinarian office. Oh, I really need obedience. My dog doesn't come. That's not what our training facility is for. Oh, but somebody said you train dogs. That program is focused on veterinarians' visits.
Yeah, I guess like the dogs just need to understand and need to every single thing, no matter how hard it is, it can put, we always have this chart, and I'm teaching my students how to see that. Do you see this dog? Does he like to be groomed, love to be like would be I'm accepting the grooming because I love you. I don't love it, but I'm okay with it. That's a level of, like, let's say, close to love. I love being groomed. Like, I like to be groomed. I accept to be groomed. I not necessarily enjoy it. Then the worse than that would be tolerate. I don't like it, but I'm okay with it. That there is a difference in between I accept and I tolerate. That's a very big difference. And then the final stage of where we don't work with the dog is hate. The hate requires program in order to get to the point, and you can't bring them from hate to love. You need to go to the stages. They're going to hate it, then they're going to tolerate, finally they're going to accept it, and then they're going to love it. But there is a protocol in place for no matter how old dogs are, what is the trauma that they went through. Because sometimes it can be so simple as when they took the dog to the grooming, the shampoo that was used to groom the dog was not tearless. And it was causing amazing and so enormous pain to a dog while the dog was bait. There is no way that's a trauma that can be connected with the environment, that can be connected with the person, that can be connected also with the driving. Because sometimes
stuck in my eyes, and that sucked.
But can you imagine what the dogs can experience?
Yeah.
And now, probably oftentimes it would have like sometime when I do the interview, the people, oh, my dog doesn't like to be driven. They hate car, things like that, blah, blah, blah. And then slowly as the interview progress, we would understand that they don't love to be groomed either. And somehow there is connection that they connect. When I'm getting into the car, I'm usually taken to a groomer. Now at the groomer, it's gonna whatever hurt me. I don't like it. It's gonna hurt my eyes.
Or the vet office.
So now or the vet office. There you go. And now I start panicking because the moment you put the dog in a car, that memory, the mind memory, make their eye hurt. it's kind of like and then that's again, it's slowly work on the eyes, talk to them, meditate, because it's an amazing program. But sometimes, when the dogs hate to be groomed, you can't, because any grooming is actually very high end trigger stress point. So first there you need to have a cooperation of the family. So we do training at home, developing a positive, better relationship between humans and dogs. And then slowly we bring that in environment. Sometimes the dog would come just for a visit. We have a nice place for the clients to sit, have a glass of champagne and little chit chat. Exactly what you said. Like just bring the dog over to teach them and to show them that nothing bad is happening here. And then we are putting them with all of these dogs around. When you have a wonderful environment in which the dog loves to be groomed, the latent learning happens to the dogs that doesn't love to be groomed.
Yeah. If there's any veterinarians watching or you have a veterinarian that is starting to get burnt out because of just all the crappy dogs that come into the office, I would encourage you guys to have your veterinarian call me, because we could develop, or they can develop, I can help them develop a puppy love type program that the training focuses on veterinarian offices, not on obedience. And I think every veterinarian should have some sort of a program that, hey, if you have a dog that has this issue, in order for you to be our client, you need to take this puppy love program, which is puppy training. And then when the client says, oh, he's already been to PetSmart, it's not obedience. It's puppy training exclusively for vet offices. But let me ask you this question. What if a groomer wants to create a puppy love program very similar to what you're doing, or wants to know how they can develop a puppy love program as a training course for their grooming office, specifically for groomers? Can they contact you and you can teach them your curriculum?
Anyone. I'll help anyone that wants. I'll do this for free because I just want people to make, I want really to make this environment like for the dog love and dog connecting to the humans. I want to make it a better place, and I'm really dedicating to that. And I must tell you, like, there are tens of thousands of puppies around the globe of my students. I must say, like, maybe 60% of my students accept the puppy love program. 40% of them does not in full. They would charge, for example, a little bit, like 15% on 10% or 20%, or they're going to give some discount or whatever. But I'm really specific in that you need to prove to a people that have a puppy that you have a best interest of the puppy at your heart. And the only way to really prove them that is that you do that of no cost. And there is, because when you have a puppy, everyone is seeing you like a walking check machine or like walking swiping card, because you need everything. You need this bed and that ball and this vaccination and that food and this treat and this ball and the high ball and low ball. And then you buy all of this shit that you don't need because you was just put in this corner of, I don't know what I need. And here is an environment that lives on the service, and it's giving you service for free. The only way for you to maintain, for any clients, to maintain a free, so the moment you skip 1 week, you are out from program. So we cannot, because the puppies are so sensitive.
Accountability. This may be a free program, but there's other people that RSVP'd here. There's a waiting list. you have to come every week. You miss the week.
Yeah.
You
just find someone to bring the puppy. And I think like it's not, I understand that life happens. And I would have them call, oh, I missed the point because, and then I know that life happens. And I never have those strict policies, oh, if you cannot cancel 24 hours and things like the blah, 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 because I know what life means, right? Yeah. And we oftentimes want to think about things, but something else happened much more than we just didn't think about happens. And the people would call, I said, no problem, just give the dog, get the dog in. I'll always find the 15 minutes. I can find everything. I can come 15 minutes early. We come to work anyhow, like 1 hour before. I can dedicate 15 minutes of that time to someone that skipped last night, because I literally, when I say I mean it, I have that life of that dog really at my heart. And I encourage, and the only reason why the people are resisting this is because they cannot see the value of this that we put in the life of the puppy and how much we create a lifetime client by that. They are running after and then the reason why the Puppy Love program is not accepted in this 40% of my students or the colleagues that I always talk about this Puppy Love, because I think every single shop in the world should have it. And then it's because of the pressure of their spouses, colleagues, friends, advisors, whatever, because, oh, you cannot give up a free. Yeah, but then they're going to say, yeah, but you're going to spend like $1,000 in a Facebook marketing, and you're going to target left and right the people that are not even in your proximity of interest. Here you have only one thing. Can you imagine how much money or how much clients you would say if you would run the ads that you love the Puppy Love program in your area, where you accept all the puppies? If you make some connection to the breeders or whatever, who is shelters that have a puppies, and you said, just when you are done with the shots, next 3 months, we serve you for free. That's kind of like, we would have a life different of the dogs, because you also develop a health consciousness to those people that own the dog. They trust you. They listen to you. You get the chance to talk to them.
Local groomers are offering that Puppy Love program, so it already makes it an exclusive thing, and it already gives you one thing that no other groomers locally are offering anyway. So
yeah, that's true. I would love everyone to offer these, but unfortunately they don't.
The thing is also too what might happen is other groomers locally that don't have this Puppy Love program, that are sick and tired of dealing with all these dangerous behaviors in grooming, they might say, you know what, go to Dog School for People. They have a Puppy Love program. Once you go to that Puppy Love program, then you can bring the dog back to me. But what'll end up happening, is
they won't come. They won't go back.
People to go back to them because you're the expert.
I love, kind of like I dedicated. There is a lot of things I said, like, no matter how we really have a high pricing structure, because we offer like really this deep, high-end holistic approach to no matter which part of the 360 pet care, nutrition, behavior, and the coat care. But I don't have another, if the people can't afford, or if I literally never put the money as something that I don't want to help dog or the people because they can't afford it. From me, service was not rendered just because someone didn't said, I'm sorry, I can't afford. I'll work with everyone, anything, anyhow, because dogs shouldn't be suffering and dogs shouldn't be punished because the people can't afford.
Yeah, I actually have, like in my program, I have a 3-tier system. I mean, I have a $195 a month program, and then I have a $495 a month program. But I have a program that's in place kind of for everybody's budgets, because I kind of feel the same way. But one of the things that I just find it so hard right now in this industry is explaining to people that working with a trainer or working with a groomer that's going to help your dog enjoy the grooming, that could be like a 1-year process. That could be a 1-year process. But people are so used to this instant gratification where, well, this trainer is going to charge this much for 5 sessions and I'm going to have a good dog. or this board and training is going to do a 3-week board and train, and then they give me 2 lessons to show me how to maintain it, and I'll have a trained dog. They just don't understand how harmful those I don't even know what to label it as, but fast food dog training. That probably sounds really horrible, but it is fast food dog training.
Fast food, fast. Yeah, you're right. I think like
there's no love in the food. It's just really fast. So here, sustain yourself. You're done. Next.
That's kind of like all of that fast food and fast whatever. Everything of that is for sale. You know, that the fast food is for sale, but it's not for consumption. If you mean well to your health and health of your family, you don't buy fast food. Like we don't buy fast food. But the fast food is to be sold. So the people that are claiming they don't have time, or they know about this, or they know whatever, the people that are, and then down the road, I don't have time now to cook properly for myself. But then I would need to find the free time to go to the doctor, and then to end up on the table, God forbid, to be operated to take some cancer out from me, because I didn't have time to live the life as it should be.
Yeah,
and it's not fair.
It's just how to feed yourself, but when you realize you have to remove your spleen, you find a way to schedule that for sure.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like that's kind of the world we live in. Everything we actually think that we have a free will at our service at all time. But I must tell you, as much as we have this, fast internet and access and freedom of I choose what I listen, I choose what I buy, I choose this, I choose that. These machines know about us much more than we know about ourselves. And every single time our behavior, through what we read, what we watch, what we look, is sold to the people who know what to do with those informations. Here we are getting the ads that we are not even aware we need, but somehow, because of their persistence, there they are. They are now making us think about them. Next thing you know, you have them as in your possession. And I'm thinking that if I go to this shop and I buy this thing, that I'm expressing my free will of choice. What I'm doing is actually spending my money. That's the most important thing. They don't, I don't know when I say they, who they are, but I guess like no one cares about where I'm going to spend the money. The most important thing is that I spend the money. It doesn't matter what. And I'm thinking that when I'm buying Gucci, Prada, Armani, that I'm expressing my free will of choice, where actually someone else made that choice be much more because before I became aware of need of that choice. And why do I need that? And again, like the same way, and then you was asking me a very interesting question that I was just about to answer when you said, like, why do someone choose a trainer? But I was hearing you differently. I was thinking, like, why do you think we chose a trainer as a profession? Why do someone choose, how someone come to an idea and pursue their dream in order to become a dog trainer, right? And that's very interesting. I didn't know, I don't know, did you answer that or I just hear that? Because the answer on that question from the standpoint of the family constellation is very, very interesting.
When we first met, when we first talked on our very, very first podcast, or it could have been the second one, one of the things that I don't remember if it was me or you that brought it up, but it was basically most people that become dog trainers go in because they love dogs. They love animals. They want to help. It fulfills them emotionally until they realize that it has nothing to do with the dog. When you're in the dog training industry, you're working with people way more than you're working with dogs. That's what your school says right behind you. Dog school for people. Right? The dogs don't really need the help. The people need to understand. So a lot of I have mentored students. I've mentored students before and they said, I've always loved dogs. And I always say, is that the reason why you want to work with me and mentor under me? Yes, I want to learn everything about dogs. You're going to learn a lot more about people. You're not going to learn much more about dogs. You're just going to learn how to deal with people. So if you are going to quit your customer service job because you hate dealing with people and you decide you want to work with dogs, just so you know, you're going to just work with people. That's really what it's going to do.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I wish it was just the dogs. I wish I could just tell the dog, hey, he doesn't understand. You're going to have to explain it to him. Just sit. That's what he's trying to ask you. He just wants you to sit. Why? It makes him feel just, I can't, it has to be the person you have to educate. So in this profession, people might look at you and me and say, wow, these people are in the animal profession. This sounds like a lot of fun. I am having fun with the animals, but I'm not really dealing with animals, am I? Neither are you.
No, it's kind of like because you said like it's not the dog who should go to the boarding school. It should be some school that's gonna, leave the dogs at home and go to some boot camp to learn about the dog's canine behavior, like a canine behavior. And once you are, because that is how our my program actually runs for like 2-3 hours. When I take over the clients, we have this workshop that goes in like 2-3 sessions of 45 minutes, 1 hour, but it's like one time. And then we lay out what's supposed to be done. Okay, this is what you need to do. This is how you're gonna run your journal. We're gonna come back and touch up things. But it's only one time, lifetime fee. You pay only once. And then you can call me and you have unlimited support as much as you need it, right? And I really mean it. I think like a lifetime support to a client, because one time I lay you everything you need to know. You get recorded lesson, you get everything that you need to know about how to interact with the dog, learning canine language. So if down the road something happened, it's not that you don't know what to do, because I already told you what to do. You are just missing the context. How what you want to solve would use the same step that you just used to solve something else with. So if I just, in a half an hour or up to hour, restructure what I told you to do, you're going to remember, I'm going to send you back to all coding of our first lesson that we had that was literally a boot camp of 4 hours, and you're going to find the answers there. And that's again how I try to get off the people this financial kind of like the God was very gracious to us during the life, I guess, and we do live off this, but I find a lot of things that I want to be in service more than I want to earn money on this. And I must tell you, paradoxically, it's completely the opposite. More you are in service, somehow money flows from all over the place, even known and unknown things. I do a lot of products. We develop a lot of products. We develop a lot of, I have a lot of patents that I make, how you call that, money off, like how you call those things when you have a patent and you get paid royalties, bravo, royalties off, and a lot of things that are actually in place that I don't need to kind of like struggle now so much and be so dollar hungry with every single thing we do. So I try to, create all kind of protocols to people that will support dogs and not have a financials in between. People that need help and that cannot afford. And on the other time, I was like in that, I don't know how the veterinarians are doing that. I don't know. I literally don't know how you are able to tell to the client that if you cannot put this dog in a veterinary facility and you don't pay $250,000 a day, that your dog doesn't have a chance to survive, and you just send them home because they cannot afford. I didn't sign up for this life working with animals to throw out from the doors people that cannot afford it because just become a corporate greed. And all of those veterinarians, because I had an emergency to go there, they did it before even we went in. We were charged like $150. No good. It's gonna be deducted from your bill on the end. And then we didn't have nothing else rather than the sales pitches. if you do not leave your dog with us, it might lose the liver. We don't know how the kidneys are damaged. We don't know how pancreas is damaged. It was this can happen, that can happen. And even me, I'm very mentally stable and centered. I was like, oh my God, do I want to take all of this responsibility on myself if something happened to the dog? And the only thing I needed is to get them out. I said, like, I just need the time to think. And I needed 2 minutes to center myself. When 3 of them came back, she said, which credit card we are putting this on? I said, this one, but you're going to take only for this service that you provided today. We are taking this dog home. So I cannot, if I would working in that clinic, and I would really think that that dog is about to die because the dog need a therapy and the owner cannot afford, how would I tell that owner to take that dog home and call them in the morning, 99% be sure that they died only because I sent them home?
Yeah.
That sucks. And after that experience, I said, like, money will not be of issue. That's why we are doing so much free stuff, content everywhere. Like, we have our Serbian account has like millions of shares and follows and all kind of things are going on there because I dedicate myself. I'm not saying this I'm just saying this and I have like my team of the people that are answering messages on all 3 social medias. And we are very kind of quick in doing that. Tony, trust me, like there is 2,500 messages unanswered to the people in need of help without the resources to care for their dogs in a way the system wants them to.
Yeah. Let me ask you this question. I've experienced this at some level in my profession. I'm really curious if you have experienced it or have even been a part of it. But I was working, I did work for a veterinarian at a short time, right? I wasn't a vet assistant. I was actually there to do behavior, which I guess I come to think of it, he was probably using me like the puppy love program, saying, hey, I need a trainer to help these clients so I could see their dogs, you know? So I'm assuming that's kind of what the whole goal was. But some of the things that I have seen in a vet office before was there was a woman that came and the dog needed its nails clipped. And the groomer wouldn't see the dog. The dog was very dangerous. And so the reason why they were at the vet office was because the vet office said, well, I mean, we could sedate the dog and then clip the nails. So the woman brought the dog. And she said, I've been taking my dog everywhere and he hates his nails clipped. He'll bite you. So the veterinarian said, you know what? Do you mind if I just take the dog to the back? I just want to take my time. And I went, oh, wow. I've never heard the vet say that before. And she goes, yeah, go ahead. So they took the dog to the back. They put a muzzle on it. They pinned that dog down. He hated it. And they just said, hurry up, click, 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 click. Oh, take it, hold on to him, get the other one, go, hurry, click, 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 click. Then they took the muzzle off, walked the dog right back into the office and said, what did the other groomer and veterinarian say about her nails being clipped again? Oh, she said that he hates it. He tried to bite them. He was nervous, but he was fine with us. And I said, liars! I was there. Liars! He was terrified. I'm like, why didn't you take the time? They go, Tony, you don't understand. Listen, that dog's going to bite anybody. That dog doesn't like his nails touched. But if we tell this woman, oh yeah, your other groomer and the veterinarian, they were right. He was vicious. Or if we say, you know what, he wasn't very bad. We just needed to take some time. And if we tell her that he wasn't as bad, is she going to go to her old vet, her old groomer that said he's a nut job? Or is she going to go to us because we said that he seemed to like us okay?
Money, greed again.
Yeah.
Did they charge?
At grooming salons where the dog's a terror to groom, but then they tell the person, oh, your dog's wonderful. I don't know what the other groomer was talking about. He loves us.
Yeah, I know that. Also, we have like we also, you know, the nail trimming is something that really literally it's kind of like, if not maintained properly and regularly, the dog's gonna hate it, because it's literally, if you don't have a right tool, if you don't know how to do it, it's gonna hurt them every single time. But there is a way to do it every single day. And it's owner's responsibility sometime to manage that and to develop a nice and wonderful calming experience to their dogs to love to be groomed. And there is a program. And I wouldn't again, because the moment you tell me that, I immediately see adrenaline, cortisol, immune system, brain, glucose. And I know that every single time that you cut the dog to your dog like that, you are shortening their life, or you are trying to make something up for later on that's going to cost you much more than the time and the money you might invest in order to develop a nice routine, and that the dog, instead of hating, tolerating, accepting, completely love to have dogs nail be groomed or dremeled or something. But there is also, I would do things for free to help people, but I cannot do it instead of them. And if I don't see the relationship between the parents and us and the dog is something that is worth, I can give my heart and soul to everyone that wants to improve and learn. But when I see lazy people that have explanation for why they didn't do this or why they can't do that, it's just not my cup of tea. I just don't want to belong to that environment. I can stay over time. I can come early. I can be available to you over weekend. If I see, not that I need to see, no one needs to prove me that knowledge is put in use. I just want to see that you really humbly want to help your animal. And if I can help on any level, I'm there for you, for anyone that listening this or might see whatever. I need to see that they're ready. They don't need to put money if they don't have it. They don't need to, that money sometimes is a time that they need to put in. Yeah. Because there is no such a thing with a dog that cannot be reversed. Because trauma, the dogs are very much present in a time. And if their old beliefs doesn't serve them, now they would give up on them very easily. Just persistent need to happen for the neural pathways to get reestablished. With some dogs, it's gonna last. With the puppies, younger dog is gonna last slower, like a faster. With adult dogs, little longer. With the old dogs, much longer. But when we are talking longer and much longer, we are talking days or weeks. With persistent and very much understandable way of how the people pursue that. And if I see that there also with the students, when I see students interesting, want to learn more, asking questions, obeying to the homeworks and rules and everything I give in front of them without, oh, why do I need to learn this, or this is stupid, why I don't need this, blah, blah, blah. And then I can understand, then I give them the context. But when I see people want, then I'm giving more. Yeah. When I see people are not interesting, I just withhold, because you know how they call, you don't throw the diamonds in front of the pig size, and that's some saying. Yeah,
you don't give your pearls to swine. It's
there
a
biblical.
Yeah. You know, I have a monthly fee for my clients, but my clients have full access to me. It's not like I give them just 4 sessions or 8 sessions. You know, I'm basically on call because I only take on 20 clients, 20 cases a year, because of all the time I give them. And a lot of times they don't always just make appointments. Sometimes they call me like they're calling their uncle and say, oh my gosh, I need to talk to you really quick. And there's no need for an appointment. If you need me, I'm always on the phone. But one of the things that I like what you said was I don't want to waste my time helping somebody that doesn't want to be involved. And that's where I think boarding training is just really bad. These clients are sending their dogs to boarding training because they don't have the time to be involved.
Because on the other side, I must say, because on the other side, this is so much of the mainstream exposure to that boarding training. And because of the lot of money involved in those things, there are a lot of money possible to put in marketing, and the rest is just a brainwashing. I think the people wouldn't choose if they would really have a time to think about. How Emerson said, like, a problem of this world that the people don't have time to think. And I literally, if they would think about make an informed decisions, research a little bit, they would come to a conclusion, like every single responsible owner, this is my job to do. This is to train the dog, to create an environment in which dog gonna live a stress-free life. It's my job to do. It's my job to provide. Let me see what I can learn so I can live life of dignity with myself as a human, and to provide a dignified life to my dog as a dog. And that would be a conclusion to anyone. Like me and you met from completely two different backgrounds with the completely two different ways of coming to the same point. Because when you put the interest of an animal in front of money or yourself, and if you really want to find a way how I can provide this environment, how I can train this animal without actually training it. I don't want to train anyone. And that's, there is some little family constellation drop to why do we want to train someone? It's because we undergo very tough childhoods usually. The trainers are trained by their parents. The groomers are groomed by their parents, either one or the other one. And that is what we find. Oh, I'm groomed. I am groomed. I was groomed by my mom to become who I am today. And that the way she did it was so profound in her purity of her love that she didn't even see what she's doing to me, right? Yeah. And what I put like a mirroring of my life turn into grooming and making someone become beautiful. And then I'm in love with them as she was in love with me. On the other side, the training side of me is coming from my father that was like so rigid, so on point, so strict, so rulish, that I had this two-way street that I was always choosing in between, which I surrendered to both. That may be why I have such a mind to comprehend both worlds. But usually you would find trainers are coming from the strict, discipline, organized parents that are usually some sort of military discipline that train their kids, they're programming their kids, and the kids take that in the future profession.
Yeah. True.
And always you would find that the trainer was trained and it's looking to train. And if there is some sort of the emotional involvement in that, animals are an amazing. So we don't become a karate kid trainers or some sport trainers. We become animal trainers. And that is where, after, as much as we think that that's our choice, that's our free will, we are pretty much programmed in it without even knowing it. But that's the only way how we could live this life. And I don't know for the other paths and ways, and the family constellation and loyalties are so profoundly impacting our life. And we made choices that we feel like they're ours to make, and we make them and we feel they're ours, but other people made them through us. Yeah. Again, out from a love that they...
I think before signing off, because I know we have to sign off soon.
Oh my God. Is this like 2 hours?
Well, pretty close, but I think the most important thing to let everybody know is people, train your own dogs.
Yeah.
Because there's love behind it. Make your own food because there's love behind it. When you make your sandwiches for your kids at school and you leave little I love you notes, have a good day at school, and you put it in their paper bag and you write their name on it with a heart on it. You remember Mama used to do that, right? Making it with love. Don't buy them.
Secret.
Let's go lunch for love in it. It's just cafeteria food. It's the same way with dogs. Work and with your dogs and get to know one another. Don't send them to a 2-week stranger.
It's an amazing time for me to tell you the story, and I think like we can close. You wrap up this, but once you said this one, I was like going through some severe problems in my life, health-wise as well. I was in a not good mental state, so my liver suffered. And I went to a doctor and he gave me a diet and he said like a lot of things I should, and the protocol was avoid of any cost. Don't eat anything sweet, especially not honey. I went home to my mom and I said what happens. And we were not living already. I was already married, had kids already, I think a divorce as well. And then I told her, oh, I have this liver problem, blah, blah, blah. And the doctor told me this and that. And I went home and here she comes for the weekend, brings me a little jar of honey that she prepared for me with some, I don't know what she put inside, some plants, something. And I was watching that jar and said like, oh my God, like he told me not to eat that. And here she comes with exactly what she forbid me to eat. And I said, and I was watching all of those pills that he gave me, protocols, what should I do? And I was watching that little jar with her little honey and some plants inside. And I said, like, that honey and those plants had the secret ingredients that might me heal much faster than all of this crap of the medicines I got. So I chose hers. So I get rid of I didn't eat all of that. I followed some protocol until I could, but I religiously drank her little jar with the honey as she told me. And, believe it or not, with the things the doctor told me it's going to poison me, I actually healed my liver in no time. And that was exactly what you said. If there is always, where the love is involved, humbled, real, honest love as a secret ingredient to a communication, you try to train your dog, you try to cook for your dog, you try to groom your dog on the end, you try to do something for your dog with love, humble love, without feeling guilty of you're going to ruin something or you don't know enough or you're not good enough. That is 1,000 times better for your dog and your relationship with your dogs. Then no matter how expensive and celebrity trainer you can pay to do it for you, you need to go somewhere to learn what to do with your dog. And Tony, you nailed it. The secret ingredients to success of our relationship with the dog is love. And that cannot be delegated to any boarding facility, any daycare facility, any food manufacturing company, because they do everything for money.
Nobody's going to love your kid more than you do.
Yeah, they can't.
Well, Sasha, I think this was a really, really good, I don't mind that this was a podcast that went over 2 hours. I think and it's funny because I thought I was going to shock you with all of those videos I showed you, the abusive trainers. I could tell you were a little upset, but I could also tell you weren't really that surprised.
I know the industry. I know how it goes. Unfortunately, we didn't see nothing. We didn't see after those circus animals were exposed, how they learn elephants and how they learn those. And that's what I'm asking. And then there I said, like, are we just criticizing these people because they are doing more than average client, average owner that uses a choke collar to walk their dog on the street, or using a prong collar, or using, thank you, or using the e-collar is doing to their dog? For me, there is no difference. Maybe even this, what the owners are doing to their dog, hurts their dog emotionally much more than what we saw on this video. So yeah, you are right. Unfortunately, I was not too much surprised.
Yeah. Well, man, it's always good talking to you. So, and once again, anybody wants to make any comments or has any questions that we can bring up in the next podcast, we totally will. And we're more interested also in what people want to learn about. What do you want to know about? Sasha and I are creating content as we go along, but we really want to know what you guys want to know about. What do you guys want to learn about?
Yeah,
right.
We are happy to share our perspectives and for then you to find that there is some other paths so you can make more informed decisions of what would be best for you, your family, and your dog.
Yeah, and you can reach out to either one of us. Thanks so much for everybody for coming and watching us.
Thank you, Tony, so much.
Thank you, Sasha. I'll see you next week.